بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدي وحبيبي ونور قلبي، طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. قال الله العلي العظيم في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. خذ من أموالهم صدقة تطهرهم وتزكيهم إن صلاتك سكن لهم والله واسع عليم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Tonight, our topic is about lessons from Zahra alayha salam. Lessons that we're going to take from Zahra alayha salam is more regarding our faith and practices. We know as Muslims, our religion is formed in the way that we have what we call usul al-din and we have furu' al-din. This usul al-din and furu' al-din, they both are very important in Islam. That usul al-din is much important compared to furu' al-din. And the reason is, today, if you and I don't believe in usul, the furu' has no meaning. In other words, our aqeedah is like a tree. If you have a tree and you decided to cut the branches, the tree will still survive. But if you decide that I'm going to cut the root of the tree, what's happened to the tree? It's going to die. It cannot survive. That's why in Islam, if I said, I believe in usul al-din, but I'm not praying, Islam says you're still a Muslim. I believe in usul al-din, but I'm not fasting, Islam says you're still a Muslim. But the moment you said, I don't believe in Tawheed, then your Islam is gone. That's how much usul al-din is that important. And tonight we want to show that we understood from Zahra alayhi salam, as she is explaining to us the deeper understanding of what is the concept of Tawheed and what is the concept of furu' al-din. Today, many of us as a parent, we have a big struggle with our kids when it comes to religion. And this is not just as a Muslims. You know, there's a research that has been done that in North America, there are a big percentage of children who were born in the house of religion, Christians or Muslims, but by the age of 20, 25, most of them left religion. They no longer consider themselves Christians or Muslims. But the question is, why? Why is it that someone was born and raised as Muslims and at some age they don't believe in those teachings anymore. One of the reasons, my brothers and sisters, is lack of the proper understanding of that religion. That religion that we practice, we need to understand more in depth about what Islam is all about. And we can only understand this when we go to whom? To Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salatu wassalam. Because Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam, not only they teach you the true teaching of Islam, they also give you more than what you think is basic teaching of Islam. Because by the way, one thing we have to understand also is that in Islam, everything we learn or we know about Islam, it has two parts of it. For example, today when you look at Islam, when we say, for example, as-salat, praying, this salat, it has the actual meaning of it, wudu, facing the Qibla, salat, and then there is more to it, and what we call falsafatu salat, which means the hikmah why Allah prescribed salah. Now, many often people will think, okay, why would Allah want me to pray 5 times a day? What would Allah do with my salah? What would reduce from Allah if I don't pray? What would Allah gain if I do pray 5 times a day? That's a question. But the answer or the proper understanding would only come from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And tonight, we want to share some light from Zahra alayhi salam as she explained the philosophy of things we do as Muslims. So that today or tomorrow, when we stand to pray or fast or go to Hajj or pay our zakat, we have more philosophical understanding of why we do things. But before we go to that, one thing is many people, we think Allah prescribes salat because He wants to show that He is the God. We have to obey Him. So when I pray, I'm only showing obedience to Allah. That's it. But this salat that I perform, what is it has to do with me as an individual here in this world? Do I benefit from salat other than being obedience to Allah or not? As Zahra alayha salam, she tells you the benefit you and I reap from just praying 5 times a day. She tells you when Allah tells you to fast, it's not that Allah wants your hunger or Allah wants to see you thirsty. There must be some wisdom that you as a human being, as a Muslim, you reap that benefit here before Yawm al-Qiyamah. And that's what's called falsafatul ahkam, the philosophy of Islamic rulings. Number 1, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes salat, Ya Rabb, what is the philosophy of this salat that I can learn? Now we know salat is very important. And I want to emphasize the importance of salat before we talk about the philosophy of it. Because as-salat is the key of our ibadah. And Imam Ali tells you in Najil Balagha, Allah fi salat li'annaha amudu dinikum. This salat is the pillar of your religion. This salat is so important that Rasulullah says, Al-ahdu alladhi baynana wa baynahum as-salat. The line between the Muslims and non-Muslims is the salat. The day that I said that I don't feel salat is wajib, then it's over. And this salat is so important that salat cannot be compared with anything in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed many things, but you cannot compare salat with anything. Number 1, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says salat is wajib. But this salat, it says as-salat la tusalla illa bit-tahara. I cannot pray without tahara. Good. Ya salat, what do I do to start you? I say, you have to do wudu. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم. You have to do wudu. Ya Salat, Ya Allah, I don't have means to do wudu. There is no water. Can I skip Salat? They say no. There's other option for you. What is it? فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. You don't have water? I say, still Salat is wajib. What do? I say, you have to do what we call dry wudu, tayammum. Ya Rab, I don't have anything to do tayammum with. Can I skip Salat? I said, no, you can't. What do? They say, Salli wa anta faqidu tahurain. You still will pray even you don't have wudu or tayammum. But according to the fuqaha, you have to wait until the last minute of salat and then you perform it without wudu and tayammum. Good. They said in fuqaha, they said, in qadarta salli qa'iman. If you can, healthy, strong, I say, pray while you're standing. Ya Rab, I cannot stand to pray. Can I skip salah? They say no. Salli wa anta muttaki'an. Pray while you're leaning on something. Ya Rab, I can't lean on something. They say salli wa anta jalisan. Pray while sitting. Ya Rab, I can't sit. They say salli mustalqiyan. Istilqa means lay on your back. And do still pray while you're laying. Ya Rab, I'm laying. Okay, I can move my head fine, but I can't move any part of my body. Question, can you move your eyes? Yes. This is salli bi rumushi aynay. Ya Rab, I can't move my eyes. I need to pray? Say yes. How should I pray? Say salli bi qalbik. Ya Rab, I can't pray with my heart. I'm in coma. Can I skip salah? They say no. Salat is still hanging. If you survive from the coma, you have to pay all those salat back. If you die and you have an older son, it goes on his shoulder. He does for you. That's how salat is important in Islam. Salat can be only for men. Salat can only be taken off your shoulder at one stage of your life. That's it. When? It's called halatul ihtidar. When malak al-maut is taking that amana. That's the only time a person is no longer required to pray. That's the salat, and that's how important this salat is. Now, to understand more about this salat, every wajib we do in Islam, zakat, hajj, khums, all of them, when the time Allah want to prescribe, Allah send Jibreel down to tell Rasulullah how to fast, how to do hajj, how to do zakat, how to do khums, how to do amr bil ma'ruf, except salat. When the time Allah wanted to prescribe salat, Allah told Rasulullah Jibreel, Ya Jibreel, there is something super special I want to give to Rasulullah. But Jibreel, you cannot hand it to Rasulullah yourself. It's so precious that you, Jibreel, Aminu Wahyullah, it said you cannot deliver. You said, Ya Rab, then what should I do? I said, bring my Habib to me and I will deliver to him myself. Jibreel have to leave the heavens, come to the earth, take Rasulullah, the night of Isra and Mi'raj, take Rasulullah to his maqam. He got to his maqam, he told Rasulullah, لَكَدْ انْتَهَى بِيَ الْمَقَامِ. Ya Rasulullah, the journey is over for me. But you still have the journey to go. Rasulullah looked at him, said, Ya Jibreel, أَفِي مِثْلِ هَذَا الْمَوْضَعَ تَتْرُكُنِي. why are you leaving me at this point? When the journey we started together. Then Jibreel said to him, Ya Habib Allah, لقد بلغت مبلغا لم يبلغه أحد قبلك ولن يبلغه أحد بعدك. Ya Rasulullah, you have reached to maqam no human being ever reached to that level before, and no one will ever in the future either. Ya Rasulullah, this point that I reached, if I raise 1 foot, I will be burned to ashes. ولكن يا رسول الله تقدم. Go. You still have journey to go. Rasulullah, continue the journey. Well, Quran tells you how the journey went in Surah Al-Najm, where Allah says, ثم دنا فتدلى فكان قاب قوسين أو أدنى. Rasulullah, Quran says, dana. الدنو بمعنى القرب. He was close. ثم تدلى. التدلي in Arabic أي بمعنى شدة القرب. Very, very close that one can ever be. Ya Quran, can you describe it how close Rasulullah was to Allah? I say, yes, I'll tell you. I said, فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنِ أَوْ أَدْنَى. The distance was what? قوسين. القوس in Arabic بمعنى الذراع. Any length like an arm is called قوس. So the distance was like an arm. أو أدنى, or even less than that. By the way, when we say قرب here, we mean ليس قرب المكاني. We have قرب المكاني and we have القرب المعنوي. That قرب that Allah is talking about is talking about المعنوي, spiritual closeness, not physical closeness with Allah. Now, in that distance, Allah delivered salat to Rasulullah to bring it to you and I today. And all of that journey is to give us the salat. And that is to understand how important this salat is. And that is why when you hear Rasulullah says, أَوَّلُ مَا يُسْأَلُ الْعَبْدُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ الصَّلَاةِ. The first thing we all will be asking يوم القيامة in the grave is salat. إن قبلت قبل ما سواها وإن ردت رد ما سواها. If salat is accepted, everything else will be accepted. If that salat is rejected, everything else will be rejected. Good. Now this salat, it has what we call al-hay'a. The look of it is ruku and sujood and qira'ah and the list goes on. Good. Now, Ya Zahra, what is the philosophy of salat? Why would Allah prescribe salat for me as an individual? There is something that I can gain from this salat. As Zahra in her khutbah, she tells you, I say, وَشَرَعَ لَكُمُ الصَّلَاةِ تَنْزِيهًا لَكُم مِّنَ الْكِبَرِ. The philosophy of salat is here, brothers and sisters. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribes salat. Why? Because human being by nature, the way Allah created us, human being by nature is arrogant. And you want to know how arrogant we can be? If you want to know how arrogant a person can be, watch him with two things. If those two things never happen, a person can be humble as they can be. They can be as great as they can be. But when these two things happen, if they're still humble, then they're real humble. But if this one of these two happen, that is where the arrogance of a human being comes in. You know what's number one? Money. You want to know how a person can be arrogant? Watch them until they become rich. If a person is poor, mashallah, they're so down to earth, right? But if the pocket becomes filled with money, that's it. The arrogance kicks in. And Quran tells you in Surah Al-Alaq, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَيَطْغَى أَنَّ رَآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. Human being will become arrogant when the pocket is filled, when he has money. That is how a human being can become arrogant. The second one, when a human being becomes powerful. When power becomes under your control, I can give orders. People will listen. People will do what I want. That is when you see the arrogance of a person. Now, if you want to see the worst, if the two get combined. If the two of them, the money and the power, all came together, that is when a person's become not arrogant on other human being. He become arrogant towards the God. Think arrogant is not towards the human being. No. Sometimes it can elevate to Allah. Allah said in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal insan, ma garraka bi rabbika al-kareem. Human being, what made you arrogant towards your Lord who created you? Alladhi khalaqak. He created you, but still arrogant towards him. Human being by nature, money and power makes us arrogant. Now, what is it that Allah prescribed in your daily life as a prescription to lower that arrogance in you and me? Salat. How can salat show, eliminate that arrogance within me? Zahra alayhi salam, she tells you, وَشَرَعَ لَكُمُ الصَّلَاةِ تَنْزِيهًا لَكُمْ مِنَ الْكِبَرِ. Salat is the way of keeping or taking out your arrogance. And if a person is praying and is still arrogant, then there's something wrong with the salat. If you're really praying and you're doing the way Allah wants, the salat must eliminate the arrogance inside you. Why? Number one, the salat eliminates arrogance in the way that Allah made this salat to be performed. How? The most precious part of your body is your face. The face of every human being is the most precious part of your body. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to teach you humiliation, it tells you to do something called sujood. That face, which is the highest part of your body, right? Allah said, put it on the listing of my creation, called dirt, called earth. Ya Rab, for what? To show your humiliation to your Creator. That's why every day when you go and put your head down, it shows you your humbleness towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is number one. Number two, salat, not only the sujood brings humbleness. Salat reminds you very important message, brothers and sisters. I can be arrogant walking on this earth, feeling that I'm the big guy, I'm the boss, I control, I have this, right? Salat tells you, no, you're nothing. Why? When you go to sujood, that sujood indicates something important. What is it? Our scholars, Urafa, they say Allah prescribed 2 sajdatain for a reason. The first sujood, to remind you that you are product from this called earth. Number 2, whatever you think you are, at the end of your life, you're going back to this earth too. Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum. Then what is the arrogance? If at the end, I will be put in that earth. The arrogance has no meaning. That's number 2. Number 3, salat teach you the humility in a way that in Salat al-Jama'ah, when we come and stand in Jama'ah, Allah teach you practically how to eliminate arrogance inside you. When we come to Salat, I own the company. I'm the boss. You work for me. I work for you, right? We come to Salat al-Jama'ah. When we stand in that line, Allah says, all of you are equal. In whom? In front of the great boss. I own the company. I pay him. Yeah, that when you go to that building. But here, in front of Allah, you're all equal. How are we equal? Allah said, you do ruku together equally. You stand together equally. You go to sujood equally. You do salam equally. To mark to you and me together that we are the same in the sight of Allah. Not only that, salat that we pray, this salat, it also teaches what we call what? Eliminate racism. One of the biggest world problems today is racism. Salat, eliminate racism too. Now, if I come to Salah, is there any part they call this is for the white folks here, and then non-whites supposed to stand here? Absolutely not. All right? When we come to Salah, your color doesn't matter to Allah. Your ethnicity doesn't matter to Allah. What matters to Allah is what? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That salat teaches you the equality and humility. As-Zahra alayhi salam, she said, وَشَرَعَ لَكُمُ الصَّلَاةِ تَنْزِيهًا. التنزيه بمعنى التطهير, to purify your heart, your mind from what? مِنَ الْكِبَرِ, from being arrogant. That is the understanding of your practical lesson from salah. If you have a problem of being arrogant, then think deeper in what we call falsafat al-salah. Then it will help you to eliminate that arrogance. That's number one. Number two, As-Zahra alayhi salam, in her khutbah she mentioned also, why would Allah prescribe zakat for us? Ya Allah, I work harder, I save my money. Why do I have to give somebody else for nothing? It's my job, I work harder, I save the money. It's my money. But Allah said, no, I want you to pay zakat to somebody else. Ya Zahra, ma hiya falsafatu zakat. And she tells you, وَشَرَعَ لَكُمُ الزَّكَاةِ تَزْكِيَةً لِلنَّفْسِ وَنَمَاءً فِي الرِّزْقِ. Your zakat that you pay, what do you think? You think I'm paying zakat for what reason? Maybe then I'll give this money in this world, and then Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah give me Jannah. Inshallah. That's all what is happening. All right? But zakat has nothing to do with my life in this world. Zahra said, no, there is much more for you in this world. Allah told you to pay zakat, yes, but this zakat, Allah wants to tell you that even though you're paying to someone else, but you are reaping benefit here in this world. What are they? It said, tanzihan, tazkiyatan linnafs. Allahu Akbar. Do you know that the money you give as a sadaqah, the money you give as a donation, it does have something to give back to you? What is it? Number one, Al-Quran tells you that money you give, it comes back spiritually to purify your soul. My sadaqah, purify my soul? Yes. Quran says, where in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 103. Ya Rasulullah, khudh min amwalihim sadaqatan. Take the money from them. Let them pay their dues. Then what? I said, tutahhiruhum. That sadaqah will purify them. Wa tuzakihim. This is sadaqah that we give. I'm reaping the benefit here before Yawm al-Qiyamah. One of them is my own self-purification. Is that all? No. Zahra says, وَنَمَاءٌ فِي الرِّزْقِ. As you give, it helps to grow your sustenance too. Now, many often times, we think when I have $1, I give 50 cents, now I lost 50 cents. Right? That's what we think. But Zahra tells you, now, you're giving that money to Allah, to the Prophet, to Islam. No, you are automatically putting it in the savings of Allah. And that savings have Allah to give back. Quran says, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا فَيُضَاعِفَهُ لَهُ أَضْعَافًا كَثِيرًا. who is willing to give Allah loan. Today, if any bank comes and tells you, look, we have a saving, account, if you put any amount, we give you 50%. What would you do, my brothers and sisters? MashaAllah, I'm going to take all my money from all the account, put it there. 50% is a lot of money, right? Good. Allah is telling you, Allah Rabbul Alameen, right? He said, I'm telling you, I'm doing business with you, right? Man the ladhi yuqridullah, who was willing to give Allah the loan, right? And that loan, Allah said, I will return back to you in multiple. But how many of us are believing Allah and giving it back to Allah? Absolutely not. But Allah said, I'm telling you, I will give you back. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the problems we have today in the West, or in the world today, let me say, there is one misconception. We think the more I save money, the more I keep money, the more happy I become. That's what many people think in America. My happiness is tied with what? A lot of money I have in the bank. But today, if you ask the celebrities in America and the Western society, the saddest people on the planet are the people who own a lot of money. Some of them, they cannot even sleep at night without taking pills. You thank Allah, you don't have that much. When you put your head on the pillow, you're gone. All right? Some of these wealthy people, they cannot sleep that easy. They have to take medication so that they can sleep few hours. You know why? Because they refuse to listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This money that Allah gave you, if you and I are to do exactly what Allah wants, that is where your happiness is. As Zahra alayhi salam, she's telling you exactly that. There was an alim, a scholar, who lived in a village with a man who was wealthy. And the man has the same mentality like many of us today. Save money and you'll be happier. You can travel, you can do this. The more you save, the more happier you become. This man saves a lot of money. But after all, he was not happy. He went to this alim. He said, I have a problem. He said, what is your problem? He said, I have money, I saved, and I thought that this money will buy me happiness, but still I'm not happy. The alim said to him, do you really want to do you want happiness in your life? He said, absolutely. The alim told him, one way to go. Tomorrow, if you want to be happy with your money, I said, I want you to put a lot of this money into bags and come with me, and I'll make the money turn to your happiness. I said, okay. The next morning, the rich man put all the money into bags, and he brought to the alim, and he gave it to the alim. Okay, this is the money, take it. I said, no, I don't want the money. I want you to bring it. I'll show you how you can buy your own happiness. He said, okay. How am I going to buy the happiness? He said, come with me. The alim took him, the rich man, together. They went to the deepest village in that city. And the alim told him, gather all the poor people around you. Call them. He called all the poor people. They came, they line up. I said, ask them, each one of them, what their needs and how much they need for their problems, and just give them the money. You yourself do it. I'm not going to give it. You do it yourself. The people of the village line up. They come to him one after the other. Everybody tells their story, their problem, and he will take the money, give it to them. Then the person will go. The next one will come. The next one, the next one, the next. By the time the sun set, he gave the money to all of the people. Now they're on their way back to home. The rich man told the alim, today is my happiest day in my life. Today is the happiest day of my life. The alim asked him, what happened? Why today is your happiest day? He said, look, whenever those people come to me and they tell their problems, and I take the money and give it to them, when they receive the money, they started smiling, being happy. And anytime I see them happy, it makes me happy. That I made a difference in somebody's life. That I made somebody to smile. That I put happiness in somebody's heart. I said, that make me happy. Then the alim told him, this is how you buy your happiness. Many oftentimes, when we help needies, we think we're doing them favor. But in reality, you are doing your own self favor. By doing what? By giving to them, right? You're doing yourself favor, that you're buying yourself happiness. And that is what Zahra is telling you in this khutbah. What she says, وَشَرَعَ لَكُمُ الزَّكَاةِ تَزْكِيَةً لِلنَّفْسِ, to purify your heart, where you don't have attachment to these things. My dear brothers and sisters, you know, maybe we might not see the importance of giving and sharing our wealth with those who may need. But Quran tells you, whether you know it or not, there is one day is coming in your life. All of us will experience that. One day in your life, you will realize it. But then, it's too late. You know what day is that? When the death approaches. When Malak al-Maut comes to take that life, that is when all of us realize the importance of giving, but it's too late. Listen to the Quran in Surah Al-Munafiqun. Allah says, وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقْ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And then Quran says, وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا. At the time of death, a person will look and say to Allah, oh my Lord, can you delay my life for a certain period of time, for 1 second, so I can give all my wealth? Because now I realize how important it is to give. But then the answer comes from Allah. No. وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ. Allah said, we don't delay anybody when the time of death comes. And says, وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. That is why important now to give. The falsafa of giving from Zahra is you're buying yourself happiness in this world. You're doing yourself a favor when you give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why nobody has matched Ahlul Bayt when it comes to giving, especially Zahra. Zahra alayhi salam, she was the top of the list of giving compared to anyone among the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And Quran confirms that on her and their children. When it comes to feeding, giving, they were on top. And Zahra alayhi salam, one unique about her, Zahra, when she gives, she doesn't give like you and I. That I want to give something, but I give things that I don't like. Things that it's not old for me, and now I'm bought the new ones, so let me give the old one. No, Zahra, she always gave the best of what she had. And Quran says, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You want good from Allah? Allah said something you should know. What is it? It says, give the best of what you have. Then you can expect good from Allah. Many oftentimes, today when we want to give our shoes away, or we want to give our clothes away, which one do we give? The older ones, right? The ones that ripped, too old, we wore them years. No, we don't need them. We bought new. That's what we give, right? Not that it's haram, it's okay. But the best to give is something that you like. Something that you still desire, but you still let it go. And that is why Zahra and Ahlul Bayt are unique. In Surah Al-Insan, Allah talks about them. He said, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ They love it, but they still give for the sake of Allah. That is what makes it special. That's what makes it unique. I still want it, but I'm going to let it go for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Zahra alayha salam. Zahra alayha salam, she gave everything, including herself, for the sake of Allah. Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they gave everything they own, including themselves. And tonight, when we go to the house of Zahra alayha salam, there is so much that is going on in that house. According to the history, after the martyrdom of Zahra alayha salam, the news got to the city that Zahra is no more. Many Muslims, they all gathered in the house, especially the women of Medina. They gathered in the house of Zahra and they started crying and screaming. Women, those who came, one of them is Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. She came to the house and she wanted to enter the room of Zahra alayha salam. Asma was standing by the door. She refused to let Aisha into the room. Aisha went to her father Abu Bakr, the first Khalifa. She told him what Asma has done to her. Then her father came to Asma. Ya Asma, man ladhi? What is your reason of not allowing the wives of the Prophet to go see the daughter of the Prophet? Then Asma responded, Inna Zahra amaratni bidhalik. Zahra is the one who ordered me not to allow anybody. Then those men, they turned to Imam Ali alayhi salam, giving their condolences to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Zahra alayhi salam, according to the history, her martyrdom was happening at the time of Salat al-Asr. So many of them, they were hoping that Zahra can be buried or will be buried that day. Imam Ali alayhi salam quickly told everybody, no, the burial will not be right now. So everybody can go home and then the burial will come later. Everybody went back home. And then at night, Imam Ali started the ghusl, the process of washing the body of Zahra. What a difficult job to do for a man like Amir al-Mu'mineen to wash the body of his wife, the daughter of Rasulullah. But here is the most saddest part, brothers and sisters. The narration said when Imam Ali lifted the body of Zahra, she was very, very thin. The body was almost seemed to be like only bones are left in that body. But Ya Zahra, what was the reason of that? Wasn't Zahra eating? Well, of course she was eating. But what is the reason of her being skinny? It says because of masa'ib dunya that she was going through has caused Zahra alayhi salam to be that thin that Imam Ali alayhi salam, when you put her on the ghusl, on the table, on the place to wash her, Imam Ali alayhi salam, as Zahra already told him, Ya Ali, don't take my clothes off during the ghusl. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I don't need to be taking my clothes off. فَأَنَا الَّذِي سَمَّتْنِي أَبِي الطَّاهِرَةِ, I'm already pure, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Just put the water and do just the normal wash, and that will be okay. And on that day, Imam Ali alayhi salam, as he was washing the the body, and Asma was pouring the water. Imam Ali alayhi salam was the first part. He came towards the second part. Asma said, I heard a scream from Imam Ali. I heard him scream, Aqwa an-nas ba'da Rasulillah. The strongest man after Rasulullah is screaming, Ya Ali and Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, mimman sayhatuk. What is the reason of your scream? Imam Ali tells you, he says, yes, wallah, lakad wada'a yadi fi mawdi'aha. My hand had touched that place. What are you talking about, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? He said, yes, I touched the place. What is it? The broken bone of Zahra alayhi salam. That rib that was broken, I can feel it. I can see it. Imam Ali alayhi salam turned. He started crying, shedding tears, complaining to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. After that, it was very tough on Ali and Amir al-Mu'mineen to continue the ghusl. Asma said it took Imam Ali some time because of the tears that he was sharing, because of the crying, he had to pause and finally come back to continue the ghusl. After that ghusl, Imam Ali alayhi salam stood to do the salat because Zahra is one of the ma'asuma. She also have to be prayed by Imamun Ma'asum. Imam Ali stood to pray. What a hardest thing, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. And looking at the face of his wife, he says, Allahu Akbar. Imam Ali busted into tears. No words can come from the mouth of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali with his son Al-Hasan Al-Hussein Al-Asma did the Salat al-Janaza. After that, they waited until everybody fell asleep. Based on the wasiyah of Zahra, he said, Udfunni idha namat al-uyun. Bury me when everybody is asleep. Surely enough, Imam Ali alayhi salam did exactly that. At night, Imam Ali was the one carrying the coffin of his wife Zahra. He took her to the next to Rasulullah. He dug the grave of his wife Zahra alayhi salam. Finally, he brought the body, putting the body in the grave. After he placed the body in the grave, he looked at the grave of Rasulullah and he said, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Yes, peace and blessing of Allah be upon you, Ya Rasulullah. It says, وَعَلَى ابْنَتِكَ الطَّيِّبَةَ الطَّاهِرَةَ السَّرِيعَةُ النَّازِلَةُ بِكَ. Say, not only upon you, Ya Rasulullah, also the peace and blessing be upon your daughter. Which daughter? He says, السَّرِيعَةُ اللِّحَاكُ بِكَ, who was so quick to meet you in Alam al-Barzakh, who died so quick right after your death, Ya Rasulullah. And then Imam Ali look and he says, Ya Rasulullah, amanatun ruddat. This is your trust you put in my hand. That amana has been returned back to you, Ya Rasulullah. From now onwards, you take it from here, Ya Rasulullah. وَكَأَنَّ قَائِلٌ يَقُولُ, as if somebody is talking to Imam Ali, Ya Ali, and yes, you return it back to Rasulullah. But guess what? You brought it with broken rib. When you were given, there was no broken rib, Ya Ali, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. And now, surely enough, you brought it back to Rasulullah, but not as it was given to you, Ya Ali and Amir al-Mu'mineen. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. يا حسين.